Back here in Washington at Capitol Hill is tonight the first piece of legislation set to head to President Trump's desk, the House passing the Laken Riley Act, with all Republicans present for the vote supporting, along with 46 Democrats. The Laken Riley Act, as you might know, named after the Georgia college student killed by an illegal immigrant. It mandates the Department of Homeland Security detain illegal immigrants who have been arrested for burglary, theft, larceny, or shoplifting. Now, 12 Democrats in the Senate voted for the bill, and now 13 Democratic senators are asking their Republican colleagues to come to the table and work together on a bipartisan immigration and border security plan. Here with me now is the Republican senator from the state of Oklahoma, Sen Mullin. Nice to see you, sir.
Good to be on your show, brother.
Yep, thanks. Nice to always have you here. So I can look at this a couple ways. 12 Democrats in the Senate voting for the Laken Riley Act, 46 in the House.
Right.
But then that also leaves about 75% or so on the other side. Do you believe that you're seeing progress, that Democrats are moving your way, or is this sort of the ceiling as you see it?
I wouldn't say that they're moving our way. What you saw was the 13 Democrats and a lot of the 46 Democrats in the House, 13 senators, 46 House representatives. They come from states, the overwhelming of them came from states that President Trump won, and they're up for re-election. And not all 13 of them, but 11 of the 13 are. And in the House, every one of them come from states that President Trump won. So what you're seeing is they're playing politics with it. If this is something they really wanted to get done, you
don't give them any benefit of the doubt?
I really don't.
Why?
Because this is a senseless act that could have been taken care of. It was foreseeable 2 years ago. Miss Riley should be alive today if they were serious about it. But then just go back and say this bill was presented when the Chuck Schumer had control of the Senate. If these 13 individuals wanted it done at the time, they could have pushed Chuck Schumer to bring it forth, but it was never going to be signed by Joe Biden. The timing is perfect. You know, I tell people all the time, the policy is right, but timing is more important on Capitol Hill than the policy. And underneath Joe Biden's administration, the timing was never going to be right. Underneath Trump administration, it's going to be his first bill to sign into law.
So let's go to timing for a second, because today the Trump White House, the Trump administration says 1,500 troops to the southern border. The message coming out of the White House today is do not come from the southern border and try to come into the United States. I'm looking at Oklahoma. You've got 19,000 active duty service members, 47,000 military personnel. Do you want people from your state, military members from your state, headed down to the southern border?
I can tell you right now, our National Guard are chomping at the bit to help secure our southern border. The governor has already made this very clear. He's going to help the president however he needs to. And I don't know one single service member that I know of personally that isn't willing to go down there and help. Everybody in the country, except those that just left the White House, knew that our border was a national security risk. And you can see it in our cities, you can see it in our states. The idea that President Trump is now doing something about it gives them real hope. And the fact just yesterday.
Do you think 1,500 is the right number? Is this just the start? Like, is it going to get higher?
I don't know what the actual number is. I think the president is just putting his arms around it. What's unfortunate is that Kristi Noem, who was the governor of South Dakota, a former member of Congress, and needs to be confirmed. You had the Democrats just playing games with her. She's going to get the votes. She's going to be the Secretary of Homeland Security, and they know she's going to pass, but they're still playing games with us and not allowing us to put the right people in place so we can make sure that the American people are safe at home.
So let me ask you about confirmation votes, because you were at the forefront of getting Pete Hegseth through the committee and onto the Senate floor. The Hill is reporting tonight he could get a full vote in the upcoming days. Here was one of the moments, you know about it, from just last week's confirmation hearing.
How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have. And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down?
There are new allegations against Pete Hegseth. Do you believe that he is going to get the at least 50 votes among Republicans to be the next secretary?
Absolutely. And the allegations that came out...
you know that for a fact, that he's going to get the 50?
Well, he'll be confirmed.
Okay.
He can be confirmed as soon as Thursday night. But even these new allegations that supposedly came out, right? Who they're talking about is his second wife, and his second wife has been on record and signed an affidavit saying it absolutely never happened. So it's like, why are you coming out with these baseless claims still yet? Once again, this is like with Kavanaugh. The Democrats are doing a character assassination on someone that they don't like, and that's what they're doing with Pete Hegseth. And I think it's because they fear him, because why he doesn't fit the mold that Washington, D.C. says you have to be in a certain position. As President Trump has a mandate by the American people, they want a different government. They want a government that's working for the people, not working for a party. And underneath the Biden administration, the government was working for the Democrat Party.
Any Republicans? Do you expect any Republicans will vote against him?
You know, there could be a couple. I'm not willing to name. I mean, you could have up to
three.
Do
you know of a couple?
You know, I know three that's not at a hard yes yet, but that doesn't mean they're not going to vote there. That just means they're doing their due diligence on consent and on the consent part of it, and at the same time, I think they're trying to get to yes. They're not trying to get to no, they're trying to get to yes. They've got to make their own vote. Every senator's got to make their own vote. Either way, he has 50 hard yeses, and JD, if has to, he'll be the deciding vote to put him in office.
As you walked into the studio here, let's show those live pictures out in Southern California. You and I were both watching this together as this latest fire has spread there. The president, the Speaker of the House have talked about conditions to a federal aid package there. You come from Oklahoma. You know this better than I do, sir. 152 tornadoes in your state last year. That was a record 30 alone in November. Conditions were never stipulated to any of that, to any of the recovery process. Are you comfortable coming from a state where you've seen your fair share, saying, you know what, now's the time to say, if you want federal aid, you must do fill in the blank?
What we shouldn't be doing is putting the taxpayers on the hook for negligence. And California has been negligent on managing their forest. President Trump 9 years ago was with Governor Newsom and told him, this is a kennel box. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Anyone had been to California. I was in California in 2020 and 21 because of some medical reasons with my son that I spent a tremendous amount of time there. I drove through these same mountains all the time, going back and forth to different doctor's appointments. And you could tell that there was a huge risk that was going on. I have a pretty large ranch. We do forest management constantly on our place. We burn certain sections every single year just to make sure we're managing the forest correctly. And they know this. They've seen it happening. What we're saying is if we're going to give you disaster relief, there has to be some stipulations that we're not going to keep bailing you out, because what we're doing now is we're asking the taxpayers in Oklahoma to bail out California for their lack of management and putting the wrong people in leadership positions.
Senator Mark Wayne Mullin, got to leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Appreciate
being back with us here on the Hill.